MultiStep equations. This is a review of part 5. Hey, Dad. How are you doing today? That's good. Are the kids behaving? Because I know they are all capable of listening and doing what they're asked to do. Is that right? Right. Okay, in today's lesson, students will review how to solve multi-step equation using distribution on both sides of the equal sign. Using what? Distribution on both sides of the equal sign. Very good. Let's take a look at this equation. Let me ask you this. What is the original equation? Well, if you look at the equation, you have parentheses on the left and you have parentheses on the right. What do parentheses tell you to do? They tell you to, everyone hold up your finger in the air, show Mr. Cotran. They tell you to distribute, multiply, okay? So the first step of these is to actually distribute the coefficient to the quantity on the left and the quantity on the right. Let's read this equation together. Remember that what's inside the parentheses says the quantity of. Say it with me. The quantity of. So this says -2 times the quantity of 6 plus 2r equals 2 times the quantity of r plus 3. Okay? Because you're distributing, that means do what? You have to multiply. I still have some people adding. What's the problem? You don't add. You have to multiply. So let's distribute the -2. Are you ready? Yes? Okay, we're on number 1. So you're going to say -2 times 6. Okay? -2 times 6. Remember that when you are multiplying, okay, because this is for multiplication or division. When you're multiplying, you have a negative times a positive. -2 times positive 6 is going to be negative what? -12, okay? Here the coefficient is first, not the term. Sometimes they're switched, but it doesn't matter, okay? So this is going to be -12. And then what is -2 times 2r? Okay, do -2 times 2 is what? -4. That's right. So you're going to say -4 with an r, okay, because they're married, equals, now what are we going to distribute on this side? What's the coefficient here? What's the coefficient? It's 2. Remember, coefficient is the number. So you say 2 times r. Remember, if you have 2 and you have r and they're being multiplied, just bring them together and it makes them 2r. So 2 times r is 2r. Sure, 2 times r is 2r, and then 2 times 3 is what? 2 times 3 is positive 6. Very good. Okay, so that was your first step, to distribute on the left and the right sides. Now you're going to make your first t. You're going to take a look at, remember you have to underline, for me, underline the terms. The terms are going to have a letter next to them. So which family are we looking at? We're looking at the R family. That's right. So we have -4r and 2r. Ask yourself, which coefficient is smaller? What did I say? Which coefficient is smaller, -4 or 2? Okay, who thinks it's -4? Raise your hand. Who thinks it's 2? Okay, good. So it's -4. Because negative is always going to be smaller than a positive, right? Okay, so you're going to go ahead and take the -4 and ask yourself, what is the opposite of -4r? Is positive 4r. So you're going to add 4r to both sides. So you're going to make your first t, like I said. Okay, -4r and positive 4r make 0. What is 2r plus 4r? That's what? 6r. Very good. Now you're going to bring down the coefficients, okay? Because now you have one term. So what did we do here? We took a look at the two terms and we wanted to make them one. We took -4r and we took 2r, right? and we made them 1. So we said combine like terms. That's what we did. So bring down the coefficients. You have a positive 6, bring down the equal sign, and a negative 12. Great. Okay. So now you can solve for this equation by making your second t. So make another t, please. Circle 6r. So circle the term. Look at what's next to it. It's a positive 6. What is the opposite of positive 6? It's negative 6. That's right. So subtract 6 from both sides. A positive 6 and a negative 6 make 0. Bring down the 6r. So 6r equals negative 12 and negative 6. Are they the same signs or different signs? Same signs, right? So you say same signs, add and keep. So add 12 plus 6, but keep the negative. So 12 plus 6, 6 plus 2 is 8. Bring down the 1, negative, negative, negative. So now 6r equals 18. So 6 and r are married, right? But now R does not want to be married anymore. She wants to be a single lady. So what do you have to do? You have to get a divorce. So you're going to divide both sides by what? Get rid of who? 6. That's right. So 6 divided by 6 is 1, and R equals negative 18 divided by positive 6. A negative divided by a positive is negative. Very good. So the answer is what? Skip count by 6 how many times? 3 times. So the answer is negative 3. Everyone make sure that you have this written down. For number 2 on your worksheet today, we have a very special guest. Say hello.
Hello, everybody.
We have Mr. Cotran. So Mr. Cotran and I are going to show you how to do number 2. Okay, so with this equation, let's go ahead and read the equation. Now, Dad, when you see parentheses,
yes, ma'am.
When you read the equation, you say the quantity of. Everyone, go ahead, go like this and say the quantity of. Say it again. The quantity of. Very good. So we're going to read this. It says negative, read it with me, negative 6 times the quantity of n minus 5 equals 2 times the quantity of 1 plus 4n. Very good. So do you have parentheses on the left side?
Yes.
Do you have parentheses on the right side?
Yes.
What do you do when you see parentheses?
You multiply.
That's right. So what this is called is when there is a coefficient outside of parentheses, you have to hold up your finger in there. Go ahead, Dad. Here's what you do. I'm going to teach it to you. You say distribute, multiply. Okay, you ready? Okay, ready? Ready? Hold up your finger in the air and you say distribute, multiply.
You have to. So sorry.
One more time. Distribute.
Oh, I keep forgetting that.
Okay,
distribute,
so multiply. There you go. Okay, so you have to
slow.
You have to distribute the negative 6 to n and to the negative 5. So what is negative 6 times n? Now remember, when you have a coefficient and you have a variable, you're multiplying them, they just touch because they're married. When two terms touch, it means that they're being multiplied. So you just put negative 6 and n together. What's negative 6 times n?
Negative 6n.
Very nice. Negative 6n. That's right. Okay. So what is negative 6 times negative 5? Remember, a negative times a negative makes positive. So what's negative 6 times negative 5?
Positive 30.
There you go. Positive 30. Okay. Equals, now we're going to distribute the 2 to the quantity of 1 plus 4. So what is 2 times 1?
2.
Good. And then what is 2 times 4n? They're both positive.
8n.
8n. It's just 2 times 4, and then you have to have add the n. So it's positive 8n. Okay. So now you have 2 terms on opposite sides of the equal sign. But why... or what do you have to do to these 2 terms to make them 1? Okay, so this is another thing that we do. We see negative 6n and we see 8n, and we have to combine like terms. Try that with me. Combine like terms. There you go. Combine like terms. Okay, so when you combine like terms, you have to decide which coefficient is smaller, negative 6 or 8.
Negative 6.
Okay, because a negative is always smaller than a positive.
Always.
So what is the opposite of negative 6n?
Positive 6n.
Okay, so this is when you're making your first t.
T.
Okay, you add 6n to both sides because you're combining like terms. Negative 6n and positive 6n make 0. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then what about over here? 8n plus 6n.
14n.
14n. Good. Okay, so now you combine like terms. That's positive 14. You're going to go ahead and bring down the coefficients. You're going to bring down 2 and you're going to bring down 30.
We don't touch it.
Okay, so now can you solve for n?
Yes.
Yes, because there's only one term. So you circle for n and you make your second t.
T number 2.
T number 2. This is t number 1. This is t number 2. And so what's the opposite of positive 2?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. So you subtract 2 from both sides. And then you're going to, let's see, 2 minus 2 is 0. You're going to bring down 14n. And 14n equals 30 take away 2 is?
28.
28. Okay. All right. So the last step, if you see 14 times n, they're married, okay? Now, Miss N and Mr. 14, they don't want to be together anymore. So
Divorce time.
divorce time.
Mm-hmm.
So you divide by what?
14.
14. So you divide by 14. 14 divided by 14 is 1. So you're left with n is 14. How many times does 14 go into 28? Think about it. A lot of people don't know their 14 multiplication tables, but you don't really need to. Okay? So you think, okay, well, 14 plus 14 is 28. Okay?
2.
Or 14 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. 2 times 1 is 28. So it goes in twice. So n equals 2.
Voila.
Voila. Very good. Okay.
Good job.
Good job. Okay, so today you guys are going to do, afterwards you're going to do number 3, 4, 5, and 6. It's a shortened day today. And then you guys will go ahead and start on your homework. You only have 6 problems tonight, so be good.
Be good. I'll be with you. Mm-hmm.